It was an eagerly anticipated visit. What did we learn from the US envoy on North Korea, Sung Kim's trip to South Korea over the weekend? Much of the global news coverage is focused on Kim's demand for Pyongyang to cease provocations after a series of banned ballistic missile tests in the north. He repeated Washington's call for dialogue instead of destabilizing activities, and again without preconditions.
이렇게 또 한미가 긴밀하게 협력을 하면서 지금 상황 관리에 만전을 좀 기하고 있는 것 같습니다.
The trouble is, beyond talk of preconditions, it seems North Korea wants the promise of making actual progress, for instance on sanctions relief, but the US shows no sign of offering such a concession. Desire for dialogue was underscored by Kim's South Korean counterpart Noh-Kyu-duk, who stood alongside him at a joint press event yesterday. The North's focus reflected Seoul's push for a declaration to formally end the Korean War before the next presidential election here next March. He said he had serious and in-depth conversations over the end-of-war proposal with Sung Kim. The American envoy's public comments on that were much as they'd been before the visit.
I look forward to continuing to work with Special Representative Noh to explore different ideas and initiatives, including the ROK's end-of-war proposal.
In other words, Washington's not rushing towards a declaration that risks undermining its military position in Korea without having made any progress in removing North Korea's growing nuclear threat. Just ahead of Sung Kim's visit, the North test-fired a ballistic missile from a submarine, the biggest provocation since President Joe Biden took office in the US at the start of the year. Sung Kim said that was concerning and counterproductive, as he stressed America's strong commitment to the defense of South Korea. And then just yesterday, a North Korean media outlet criticized the US for its recent proposal to create a new working-level defense dialogue with South Korea, accusing America of seeking to tighten its grab on South Korea's defense sector, pressure North Korea militarily, and by extension, strengthen the realization of its Indo-Pacific-strategy. The old narrative of the US as a military overlord in Korea remains a fundamental stumbling block then, but so too does the North's insistence on continuing to develop even more dangerous weapons. And while Pyongyang's state media reported Saturday that Chinese President Xi Jinping has reaffirmed Beijing's bond with the North, it seems more likely that a new Cold War looms, or is already here, rather than an end-of-war declaration being imminent.